really didn't need this fight. Why are you fighting?
Because that's what I do. That's what I do. I mean, a lot of times people don't understand things that certain athletes would do. I mean, asking me a legitimate question is like asking Michael Jordan why he won 6 rings or why he won 4. I mean, can you imagine you asking Michael Jordan after he won his 3rd, 4th championship why he wanted another one? Sound ridiculous, right? But that's why you got levels of achievements of people in society. Some are comfortable just being what they became. But then you got those ones that people recognize as being very, very special. I'm hoping I fit in that category where, as you said, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that, you don't have to do that. And you still continue to do it, like why? And I mentioned the Michael Jordans of the world. And I mentioned, and I can name more, when Tiger was Tiger of the Woods, that is, Kobe Bryant of the world. When certain athletes in certain sports go above and beyond, and I can name some football players that got 4 or 5 rings, quarterbacks. Why do Brady still play football at 36? Looked brilliant last night. 40, excuse me. Thank you. It makes my point even more.
He's still young.
But 40 in football. So to answer your question, to educate you, why Brady's still doing it? Brady don't have to. Do Brady still have to play football? I think he's still financially successful, right? But one thing about boxing, and this ain't to spank you, this is to say the bias and also a little envy, they only know what they got in them. They ask us, very few of us can be asked this question, obviously, because very few of us don't make it over 10 years. I got 3 decades in, we're close to it. Nobody asked Brady yesterday on Monday Night Football the question he would ask me as a fighter. Because that's what's wrong with a lot of our sports. Well, this sport, boxing, not a lot of it. They appreciate, not that he don't appreciate it, but sometimes you don't need somebody saying, and I'm teaching right now, to appreciate you, you don't need nobody saying they appreciate you. It's the question they ask. A woman knows if she's respected at home by how she's treated, not what's been told to her. So his question goes to tell me how they look at it different than other sports look at it as, man, you're 40 years old, Brady. I mean, they say they got a great diet. They say he does this or do this. This is, for a quarterback, this is unbelievable. They know it's a big thing, but only in boxing. Well, we know you got your money. They start looking for reasons why you do it. You know, it's like look at you, like, man, I'm half your age and my stomach is out here. I feel like I got diabetes and this and that. And they look at me and envy set in. Why are you doing it? You don't need the money. It's the body language. And I read it and I can tell who I'm dealing with. And I say, look, you know what, I size them up. You know, I got.
In 5 years, man. In 5 years, Bernard, when you're standing at the podium at the Hall of Fame, what are you going to say?
Finally got in. Finally got in. It's, you know.
Because of you haven't got in, because you keep fighting.
Well, I know, but the question is, it's nothing really to say, because I think that when I set out to be what I became, says it all for me. And just for reason of the unknown, I'm looking to be around another 50 years or less, 45 maybe. Do the math, it takes me well into my 90s or 80s. My thing is this, is that all that is going to be said, whether I say it verbally, is going to be said either on obituary, either by someone else, or either by myself. So what's going to be said is what's already written. And that's in backing me. And that's really the head of the game. Think about it. In time, you got to make sure that what's going to be said haven't been accomplished yet. So others got to say what you might have done, what you might have became, if this or if that. In my case, I'm blessed to be able to say, if I wouldn't even fight again, and we wasn't even here, I got so much stuff. Forget in the ring, y'all. What about Bernard? You and Foreman is the only fighters that really manage ourselves the right way. Not just had a title and didn't make it anywhere because it wouldn't become a big idea, but you actually wore the hats of many hats, and you still still accomplished the major goal in your career, and that was professional prize fighter. But you also handled the management also. I mean, it might not be a big deal, but then when you look at the percentage of athletes that manage themselves in any sport, I mean, I think it's kind of a big deal. But it's not a big deal until you fail doing it. I understand that. Next question.
Oh, come down. Here, Bernard, step this way. We're going to go to third vision right here. Can you guys scoot back up a little bit, please? Thank you. Is that oh, okay. Bernard.
So knowing that you were coming into your exit fight and retiring after this, where were you mentally? How are you preparing yourself mentally?
Knowing that this is?
Knowing that it is.
Okay, and I was. I'm just having fun.
I know.
I love your smile. Good smile. I listen to a lot of words. Like I've been listening to how people talk and what they say, because it tells me okay, how am I answering? So I had
I appreciate it. You're very wise.
no problem. Not a problem. I just try to listen and understand. I prepared 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Training camp was 8 weeks. Sparring was 100, maybe 120 rounds. I had 2 good sparring partners who's still here. They're really not sparring partners because one of them is undefeated. It's named Todd Two-Gun from Philadelphia. He's here somewhere. I'm going to show him to you. He's about 6'2", 6'2 and a half, the size of Joe Smith. Small downstairs, but come like a diamond up, strong punch. Under Golden Boy banner, of course, Philadelphia. That was really a good sparring, and he was trying to get some brownie points every now and then, and I had to grab him and hold him and then, teach him the old school stuff when it needed. But, I had to take myself through the same process that I took myself through before. I must say that this is almost 2 years. If you know the time I've been out of the ring, is almost 2 years. In November, yeah, Sergey Kovalev, yeah. So I had a chance to rest. I had a chance to, always stay, physically fit. So that didn't thing, but it's been 2 years that I haven't been in there. So I had a chance to rest. I had a chance to sharpen up. I had a chance to get refreshed again.
Thank you.
Any particular way that you see your opponent against you, how strong you see him? You see him for him. How do you see him? How have you trained for him?
How have you trained for
Your opponent.
Yeah.
For Joseph.
How do I train for him?
Yeah. Oh, not Liam, sorry. So many Smiths.
Well,
Joseph.
I train like I train for any fighter. You got to be ready. You got to be ready for anything you can do. You watch film. You try to find their strength, and you try to find their weaknesses, and you try to, exploit those weaknesses early than late. So, we all have, whether social media, database, or whatever, I'm about looking at my opponent. Some fighters don't look at anybody that, they're fighting because they don't want to. But I always want to look at the good and the bad, but not get sucked in on either one, because they don't necessarily have to fight that way. So, I just try to look at what I need to work on with me and make those adjustments if it's something I haven't seen.
Oh, do you have questions? Okay.
Bernard, December 17th. Physically, how do you project yourself to feel compared to 20 years ago in your career? Can you kind of...
I don't, just
how do you expect to feel physically on December 17th compared to...
the same way I feel now, because I can't expect to feel one way if I ain't feel the way I feel now.
And how are you feeling now?
How do I look?
You look very good. You look great. You look like
Okay.
you can find another team.
To answer your question,
Bernard, December 17th, you're walking into the ring with a new trainer. Can you expound?
it's not a new trainer. It's a trainer that's been replaced. But John been with me for 4 fights, and I've known him for when he was champion. You know, John was
Oh, I know
world
that.
champion. So we go back many, many years.
And can you speak on the differences in camp and talk about the kindred spirit you and Richardson had, being of the same faith, same city? You know, because it seemed like I never saw you without him and him without you growing up as a kid and now being a media member.
Everybody that start off with you don't necessarily have to end with you. If you learn that piece in life, you will never be disappointed, good or bad. You know what I mean? So I don't know where you start off at in your life, but I assume that the people you start off with when you was, say, a teenager, for good or bad, that don't mean you're going to end with them. And that's in life. So you have to understand that there are a lot of talents that need to be looked at and need to be put together in fighters or trainers or teachers. And you always got to have your back covered in anything. It's like having insurance. And I'm not selling no insurance to nobody. But the insurance I am selling is that just in case you're in a position to have someone be there to take the place of a person that gets sick. Nazim one time had a stroke, right? Still paid him, still brought him on. You remember that?
Yes.
I brought in Freddie Roach. I brought in John was there. I had 3 top trainers in my camp for at least 2 fights. Joe Gazaki, my memory haven't robbed me, and Winky Wright. So think about that. I had 3 really Hall of Fame trainers that had many champions under their banner, especially Freddie Roach. And nobody said anything about that. You'll be like, yo, why you got Freddie? That's like an overkill. You know what I mean? You got Phil Jackson, and you got one team.
That's a good compliment, Phil Jackson.
Yeah, so my thing is I will be ready. I am ready.
You'll be ready without a trainer, Bernard. Let's keep it
No, it's not. I will be ready without a trainer, but I have teachers in my corner. And the reason that boxing is from the amateur route, which a tree grows from the ground up to the sky, why we don't have talent like we normally have in boxing and Olympics, because we don't have teachers. All those bags, when I walked in this gym, the first thing I said, it's not a boxing gym. This is a fitness class, LA Fitness, Bally's gym. Not down it. I'm just trying to tell you, it's not a boxing gym. Why? You see all those bags? It's a group section. Freddie Roach gym is a boxing gym where I would be training at, not here. I'm just doing interviews. That's the difference between, you like where I'm going, right? Trainer, teacher.
Thank you so much. We're gonna wrap it up, guys. Thank you so
we done?
much. Yeah, we're good.
You better get them after.
I think we're wrapping it. Do you
Can we
want?
do a quick one for ring?
I just asked if.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I asked if you got it.
I was looking at this, I was like, yo, man, why you? No, she's telling him, she's working with him, but he's
Okay, ready.
he went to sleep a little, but he all right.
Sorry, it's
All right. So Bernard, the first time you stepped inside a ring as a prize fighter was back in 1988.
He was in high school.
Now I was barely
Eighth
going to
grade.
go into middle school in 1992. So we're stepping back inside that ring for the very last time in 2016. What goes through your mind knowing that you fought in so many different generations, so many different decades?
I want the book to be written good.
I know where we are.
If this was a book and it was the end of that chapter or that book that you find already amazing, when that book is closed, I want you to be able to go down your memory lane and you're going to repeat to many people, man, you should see that movie. And then you should say, man, you should see that book. That book was, man, I read that book. Because the last thing that you remember about a book is not the beginning. It's the ending, most of it, right?
Right.
To keep a memory how you can repeat the legacy of any sport figure. So that's how I look at it. I look at it as like the final icing on the cake, or that signature, exclamation point. Like you just like, that's right there. Like that. This is it. If you into the Kentucky Derby, if you into the the Andy 500, if you into any major of achievement, that that this is history, that that this is a chapter. Even if it's music, you got to see John Lennon, you got to see Bootsy for the whatever you like, whatever band, R&B, whatever it is, you got a chance to see Marvin Gaye for the last time. You got that chance to go, if you're a Beatles fan, right? You got a chance, an Elvis fan. You got a chance in an era that I boxed 3 to 4 eras. You got to remember, this ain't my era. The last 2 eras, if you do the math, it's not mine.
Yeah. You were counted out back then.
Forget counted out, right? Because I'm counting in. But forget counted out. Everybody get counted out.
Right.
It's just something different, right? Out of life or whatever. If you talk about counted out back then, it's not a different conversation, but if you know my history, you would know that I wasn't counted out in boxing. Mm-hmm. I was just challenged to see if I was different than any other fighter. I proved that.
Right.
Out of the ring more than in the ring. Right? It's called smarts. I'm telling myself I am. Mm-hmm. I have to. If I don't tell myself I'm smart, then I won't be. And I strive to be that way. If you tell yourself you're not smart, you're going to be not smart. I achieved my first goal of success in the first part of my lifespan. That was rougher than boxing, business or physical in the ring. If you know anything about Bernard Hopkins' history, mm-hmm. If you know anything about before I became who I became,
right.
If you go any details about Bernard Hopkins, the inner city Philadelphia guy, through the penitentiary at 17, through 25, and survived without washing anybody underwears, you will realize that I became champion a long time ago, buddy. What I just did is got the interest of the bonus of being productive American citizen. So it's just more than just who I became as an athlete, as a public figure. But if you look at the more deeper part of it, be like, yo, we talking about this dude about boxing. We talking about they counted you out this. He said, man, don't you know this man been counted out just by the system? From what he pulled off is amazing. And then he put that exclamation point and became who he became as a public figure. Come on, man.
Right.
This is Hollywood stuff.
Well, Bernard, you're 51 years of age. You're going to be 50 soon in
Hollywood
January.
stuff, movies, book.
People looking in are wondering to themselves, is this man crazy going in against a puncher who's 27 years old?
Some. And some are, and I want to believe that if some are saying, do it for us. I think that when you are doing something and people are set and there's evidence that they should be that way, and where things supposed to stop from you, even though you don't stop breathing, even though you don't stop being productive. Humans have limitations that we put on ourselves. Majority has limitations that they put on themselves that they never let themselves blossom and see the real value that they have in themselves while they're here. Because I figure like this, when it's all said and done, I don't want to regret what I didn't do and talk about it later on when I can't do it. You like that? Don't you know there's a lot of people that if they's honest with themselves, they really can't look in the mirror and say, you know, I've done everything I wanted to do up to now, and I'm motivated to go forward. You got some people that wanted to be a boxer but never get themselves a chance, or wanted to be a teacher but they never get themselves a chance. It's not that they wasn't qualified. They was afraid to fail to win.
Politics in your future?
Thank you.
Ended on that.